Hi everybody. It's been on almost it's already a week past, maybe something like that, since I was live uh, and made last video about Chinese game. And so I was pretty much stopped by some obstacles that I have right now. And so today I was going to open up a new topic. But I think we are not set on the right path yet, because there are some guys who actually haven't seen all the videos that I've made, and at least all the playlists, and didn't get all this information. So today I was wanted to stop again on the mining topic, and I found this article again. Last year it was posted in Russian Live Journal, so I'll leave you a link so you can check those pictures by yourself. And this article was made in 3 parts. Actually, I was following it since part number 1. And in part number 1 we just observed strange formations, strange rocks, and we call them those rocks, we call them polished rocks. So just what we call them. But in fact what we see is frozen rock pasta on the heels of those rocks, or whatever you call them. You name it, you can name them by yourself, and each and every one has its own name, in fact, because people actually remark those rocks because they are remarkable in comparison to other rocks, and they often don't look very much to the landscape familiar and similar to the landscape. They look like a rock in the middle of something that is not strange, but it's strange, and you look at it, you cannot understand what exactly is this rock doing in this place, because it doesn't belong to this place actually. And we saw a bunch of those rocks. This was looks like it's in Chernogoria, or Montenegro in English. Montenegro is a black mountain country. So this is Nigeria, pretty much same. The rock is looking like flows of something like a concrete or pasta, or maybe it looks like a melted outside layer of some rock. So maybe it was overheated, and that's one of the theories that we were on when we watched those rocks first time. So it was kind of okay for the theory of a blast, numerous blasts. You call them whatever, you call them nuclear, you call them vacuum blasts, I don't know, you call them some blasts, okay? And just a whole bunch of craters, all the aerial blasts we see, and we see a whole bunch of evidence. And we thought that this is also the evidence of the blast, because those rocks look pretty much melted. And we see those, we saw those megaliths in Russia, which I showed in my videos about Atlantis in Russia and ancient nuclear war and something like that. So we saw a bunch of those megaliths, and we thought maybe it's a blast, and watching on those rocks we thought the same. But in fact what we found out is it was not an erosion that polished, it's not wind, it's just an ordinary pasta. And I've also made a video about that a couple of times, so you might as well check it out if you haven't seen it. So it looks like a flow of a pasta which is maybe flowing from the top of these hills, and we're supposed to have like a pipeline inside those rocks, those polished rocks as we call them. And actually we found something like a natural nuclear reactor. You may laugh at this, but that's what they call them. And this is what is left from this place. Just a building, something like that. So, and here another evidence of this leaching uranium or whatever, leaching outside of the ground. You make a huge pipeline to the deep place underground, and you leach and take this pasta out, filter it on the top of these hills or whatever, or maybe I don't know what's the technology, but it's also called leaching metals technology. So I know how it's called in Russian, but when I saw the translation, it called it leaching, like some. Yes, we have acids and we have something that is doing leaching, okay, which is opposite to sometimes it's opposite to acid. And again, we had the second part which I was covering in my video, and in fact I had the same pictures already at that time, and here we go with the second part. Here it also includes some pictures that I haven't seen. So this looks like a frozen fontaine of pasta, maybe something like that. So when you see it's making those constructions up in the height, and it doesn't look like it belongs to this place actually, because it's unique, nothing similar to this one here. And when we see something unique, when we see something out of the box, when we see something strange, you often have to check it by yourself, visit the place. So I encourage people all around the world to do the same research, because those pictures are made by non-professional watchers. I don't know how to say that, the people who are not in the topic, or you call it not so deep in the rabbit hole like somebody calls me, because I don't understand what is so wrong with my theory about the blast and stuff like that. So, and actually when I see this leaching evidence or pasta or concrete, whatever you name it, we have this question, and no one is asking this question. So I encourage people all around the world to start asking those questions. And we come up with the plot number 3 here. It was posted on the 20th of March, and we see more strange technologies. Maybe some people like Roger Spur, or I don't know who else is on this topic, they may see something, you know what. But I see just a bunch of pasta, not Italian pasta, but pasta from this. You can see it's falling apart like this. So it was like a thin layer of pasta, and when you just imagine how it was flowing, it matches everything. Okay, so we see this place. As I've said, this place is often unique, and nothing around it looks the same. And as you can see, we have numerous places like this here. In this place, it's in Mauritania, 215 kilometers west to the world famous Rishat, or the Eye of Saqqara. So I'm gonna talk about Eye of Sekiro sooner or later, but believe me, it's nothing that you heard about. And again, we see those structures that I've said. You see these layers. Layers can come only when something was dried out, and maybe at that time the flow wasn't hitting this area, because when it's flowing it may be directed by those who mine, and they in fact may have done those structures to make it more cheap to produce. Who knows? Only miners can answer this question, because they are practical users of this technology. If they can tell us how this is done in this size that we have today, which is a lot smaller, we can make and figure out by observation why they were doing those piles of mud, and why they were doing blocks when in the case of Russian megalithic structures, when they used concrete to build pyramids or whatever. Those pyramids were built the same way in Africa, because they were using concrete from the Nile mines, which I was also proving in dehydration video. All this proof is in the playlist. You can, guys, just watch it and make your own observation. This is how it was done, and this is how we used to do it. We used to do it in these amounts. Look at these amounts of pasta. This was done just to drill a hole and take out all these metal containing solutions outside of the ground, and this is a byproduct of this cheap method of underground intelligent mining. Intelligent people, intelligent. This is not stupid mining, this is intelligent mining. This is cheap, intelligent mining. And also we see this is something that is amazing. Also looks like something really strange. And how this was made, geologists may say that this is volcanic activity. Maybe, who knows, who knows. I can't give an explanation, nobody can, because we can only guess. But this is definitely something that looks like a huge block, and the flows of leaching pasta off it passes down. Huge concrete block which was made by miners, and they may even used it for something, who knows, because all those miners are ex-miners are modern masonry. You can understand that, because those are guys who really making things going on. And in ancient times they used miners as a cheap way of getting those blocks in any form, in any time, in any place, because mining was possible everywhere. This type of mining is possible. Why we don't do it today, who knows? Maybe we don't have this technology, maybe it's useless, because if it did make some sense, we will already do it in this amount. Maybe we only have what is left from those mining activities that were actually taking place at that time. Maybe we have just a change from our ancestors. Leave you change, you filthy animal. That's maybe what they said to us, because they know we are full of this mining outside of this earth thing. We're on this way of living when we spend too much for getting too little. And some guys understand it, some guys make it impossible. but somebody is actually always gonna be doing this parasitic way. And this is what this series is all about. This is Mudflood series. And you can ask me, why are we talking about mining when we're talking about Mudflood? Because it's all the same. It's two sides of the same coin. Because when you do mining, you sooner or later gonna do something that you cannot contain. I've been talking about mud volcanoes. I've been talking about floods in my first parts and stuff like that, and I've been showing a possible flood in the video about Antarctica, the deserts of Antarctica, the most protected area. And I've gave you as example one of the floods that was at that time. And you know what? Not many time passed. I'm broadcasting since August, and I'm in this since 2007, which is about 10 years at least. And even earlier, I've already read some books about it. So we can't keep any track, because since you're Russian, you're already into something which is impossible to understand. But who knows? What are we gonna be up to? So I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm trying to prove anything that is not unproven right now with those guys who doing it inside Russia. I combine all this information for you guys to keep track of it. Why are we talking about it right now? Because you're talking about some nice things, and for example, I've never thought I would take any proof from United States about what we know as parasites. Those parasites were androgens, so whatever you call them, but it's written the same way. So they couldn't been a wife and a husband. That's what exactly written in some Russian information, old Russian information. So you take your own conclusions on that, because this is a bombshell information, and we're gonna be talking about that in following videos. So you can make your own research on those sites that we have worldwide. I wouldn't say globally, because it wouldn't be correct, but we're gonna talk about the surface of Earth pretty soon, and this might be gonna be one of the last videos in April. So I think we should stop arguing and start visiting those places and gathering the information, gathering the proof that it's really can be a ancient mine byproducts. Because sometimes you're gonna have water springs on the top of those mountains. Sometimes you're gonna have even a system of those springs, because the pipelines were done deep in the ground, and the horse, and maybe you can have a system of caves inside those mountains. Because even if you have a mine, ancient mine like 19th century, it's okay, because the people in 19th century were a lot smarter than we think, and they knew a lot more than we know. Believe me that, because we're just little fragment of what they knew. And we're gonna have more information on this too pretty soon. So sometimes we're gonna have this one is nice. Sometimes we're gonna have some information about precious metals and ancient mines in those areas. So it's okay to record that because it does prove that some sign of ancient mining could be possible. And if we can have those places gathered like in a quantity of 10 to 15, probably we should make a full-scale part of this documentary movie, which is I'm planning to do pretty soon. I think we're gonna do it finally next year, because every day we have new information, we have something following. You know how Russia is trying to research those alternatives, just like Americans do. We do it the same, and maybe we have more information in some areas and you have it in your areas, which we don't have a clue, because we are on different linguistic encoding. And that's what I was trying to say in one of those videos I've made about that. So see you on my channel, see you watching the further videos about this mudflat and stuff like that. So I hope you enjoy it, and sorry guys if I'm not in the rabbit hole. Okay, see you later, bye.